Okay, so the first question is, how old were you when you immigrated to America?
I was 6 years old.
6 years old.
Yes.
And so what caused you and your family to immigrate to America?
Well, there was a war in Laos, and so my family fled to, from Laos, we fled to Thailand, and then from Thailand, we lived in the camps, and I remember it was, we had no food to eat, or barely any food to eat, and so that was the main reason. We did not have a house to live in. We lived in concentrated apartment buildings, and so that's why we moved to the United States.
So where did you immigrate to when you first arrived in America?
When we first came, we came to St. Paul, Minnesota. That was in 1979.
So what were the main cultural differences between American society and the Hmong society you lived in before?
Oh, I was too young to recall, but I remember that I was the different kinds of food. I didn't know there were so many different kinds of food to choose from, and it seemed like in St. Paul every corner there was a store, and I don't remember seeing any of those back in Thailand. And then seeing so many cars and houses. Back then we lived like in shacks, and the houses were built so much better, and then there were cars and bikes, whereas we did not have any of those back there.
Okay. So when you came to America, did you and your family live in ethnic clusters with other Hmong people?
No, for the first 3 or 4 years we lived with our sponsors, and they lived in a tiny little town close to St. Paul, and the name of it is Cannon Falls. So it's a tiny little town close to St. Paul, Minnesota, and they were isolated. We were isolated from other Hmong people, but within the third year, my mom and dad, they were very lonely, homesick most of all, because we were the only one family there. And so we decided, my parents decided that we should move to St. Paul, Minnesota. So when we moved to St. Paul, Minnesota, they applied for housing assistance. And so within a few months we lived in those project homes. And there were a lot of Hmong families in there, so we were kind of clustered together.
Okay. Just a question to follow up with that.
Okay.
For our family, when we immigrated to America, we had a sponsor who was a relative. Have you guys sponsored any relatives, your family, after you guys immigrated?
Okay. Our sponsors were white, Caucasian, very nice people. They sponsored us. Later on, I think it was within about 4 or 5 years, then my dad and my mom sponsored my other uncles, and they came over.
Okay.
Yeah.
So have you experienced any prejudice or discrimination in the United States?
Oh yes, numerous times, but let me see. I remember one time, and while I was in grade school, probably about maybe in 4th grade, walking back from my friend's house, I came upon 2 boys, and they were very big boys, probably in high school. And then they start approaching me and calling me, "Oh, you chink," or "Hey, boat people, go back to your country." And then they would make faces at me and say, "Chinese, Japanese, what are these?" And they show me their facial features with their eyes closed halfway open, because they believe that, well, they see that Chinese people have smaller eyes, and so they were making fun of me. And being me, I fought back and pretended I knew karate. That was a stupid thing to do, a very stupid thing to do, but I did. I pretended I knew karate, and then they ran away. So I should never have done that, but that was for self-protection. Yeah. And back then, that was when they had the series where I think it's called Kung Fu something. He was popular back then too. It was a series, so I guess they knew about that. And so when I pretended to know Kung Fu, they ran away. Very silly thing.
Yeah. I'm glad that stereotype worked against them.
I know, yeah.
So, describe some positive experiences you've had in the United States.
Positive. Well, I've met lots of friends who have taken me in, and to them, I wasn't someone, an Asian person. I was just a friend. Mm-hmm. So if I've had friends from when I was very little until now, and we're still friends, our sponsors, they treated us just like any other family. Yeah, so
that's good to hear.
That's very positive.
Mm-hmm. So how important is language in the process of learning to function in another culture?
Language. You have to have language. It was so hard for my family to communicate with our sponsors because we did not know any English. Everything was yes and no. And sometimes it was yes, but we said no, or no, and we would say yes. So I know communication is the number one thing. But I think above that is just showing love and kindness. That is our biggest communication. If we know how to communicate our love and care, and then that will break the barrier of the language. The language will come.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So how has education helped you and your children in assimilating in America?
Well, we came to the United States for opportunity to succeed in life, and always shoot for our education. And my daddy always say, you know, if you have education, no one can take it away from you. And so knowing that and believing in that, I have excelled in school, and I think it has impacted my family, has made us succeed and achieve what our dream was. My dad did not live long enough to see me succeed and have his dream come true, but we're not rich, but we maintain a good living, and we're happy here.
So, do you have any memorable stories when you immigrated to America?
Let's see. Oh, I remember when we first came, and we lived with our sponsors. They had a 2-story house. So in Minnesota, they have tri-level. So they lived on the upper 2 levels, and we lived kind of like a basement, but then there it wasn't the basement. But we lived in there, crammed in this small 2-room apartment room. And I remember one time we ran out of salt. And in our Hmong culture, salt is everything. You have to have salt every day. Yeah. But we ran out of salt, and we did not know how to tell the sponsors that we have no salt. So we were without salt, and my mom and my dad cried, and all the kids cried because we were not able to convey that we have no salt. And then finally my dad found a phone number of a friend that lived in St. Paul. So he called him up and said, we're without salt for 3 days now. Can you help us? How do you say salt in English? And so he, my dad handed the phone over to the sponsor, and then our friend did tell him that we needed salt. So that was a very sad story. And because we didn't know how to communicate the word salt. And then, let me see. One time, I remember my dad said that he went to work because he, I think we were only here about 3 or 4 days. And then my dad already landed a job. And so he started working. So that was very hard for him. But I remember him saying that he didn't know how to spell our street, so he ran outside, and then there was a sign that said one way, and so he copied the words one way, took it back to work, and they said that wasn't our address. So he came back, and he had to ask our friend from St. Paul to give him our address or print it out for him so he could take it back to work. So that's really sad, but at the same time it was a learning experience. That's why my dad always told us to always pursue an education. We didn't want to go through what my parents went through. Yeah.
Oh, it reminds me of yesterday when I was talking to Sengsu. Exact same question about education and his kids. He says that he came here when he was 18 years old, and so he graduated high school in 3 years. So when he reached college, he did not take it for granted. He chose every opportunity just to learn and come to school every day. He says that his children kind of don't see the same things, same way he sees it. Like, they kind of see education a little more granted. And so they said that some of the culture they passed on, because he said he came to America, his family came because it was to survive. Like,
yes, to
everything.
survive.
Yeah.
Yes,
and so,
I agree.
Yeah, so he had the same mindset when he came to school too. Like, every single day was a struggle, but he kept pushing forward.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
I love school. I went to school every single day. I have perfect attendance, probably up to 6th grade. I went to school every day. And I remember one time my mom misplaced my backpack. I cried and cried, and back then I thought I couldn't go to school without a backpack, so I missed one day of school. And I remember crying because my mom misplaced my backpack. But that was very sad. But nowadays, our kids, if they miss a day, oh, so that's nothing, I'll go back to school tomorrow. But back then, school was very important. We went to school, and even in the summertime, when I didn't need to go to summer school, I would go back and volunteer, help my teachers. It is very important to me. They would ask me, "Are you Lao? Are you Chinese or Korean?" And I would always tell them, "No, I am Hmong." And then I would have to tell them who is the Hmong people, because I want to know. I want them to know who I am. And it's very important. And I want people to know how to say my name, because they always get my name wrong the way it's spelled. And I would just politely correct them. Oh, my name is Sai. And then they eventually get it. Yes.
Okay. How old were you when you first immigrated to America?
I was about 18 years old.
So what caused you to immigrate to the United States with your family?
We came to America is because, you see, Laos was taken over by the communists, and most of the Hmong people was American CIA. So because of that, then we were forced to leave Laos, become refugee to Thailand, and then because of the secret war in Indochina, then the Americans, French, Australia, all those countries were coming to the refugee camp and start to interview and accept the refugee to go to the other country, and that's how I am coming to America. I come to this country is not by choice, not by like in the other nation like the Indian, all the people were coming to this country because it's the land of opportunity and everybody want to take a shot at it. We come here is not because it's not only this. We come here because we have no more place to go. It's not by choice, but by only option to come here to survive.
So where did you immigrate to when you first came to America?
We first arrived at Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I was there for about a year. Then my family moved to Rhode Island, Providence, Rhode Island, and then we were there all the way until 1987, and then we moved to Fresno, California.
So what were the main cultural differences between American society and the society you lived in before?
I think American and Hmong culture is totally different from every aspect. The way we talk, the way Americans talk, the way we greet one another, the way we believed, the way our family structures, the food we eat, how we live. it's totally it's different in every aspect. So coming to this country, it's like you relearn everything. You're reborn again, and you have to learn all over. Like you start to walk, crawl, and grow up again.
So when you came to America, did you and your family live residentially in ethnic culture clusters? Like, did you live with other Hmong people when you came to?
Yeah, when we first come here, we tend to join with the relative, like uncle, aunt, relative that they came to this country before, or even those who came after us. We have a tendency to live in the same apartment or live close to one another, and so that we could visit one another maybe during the day, during the weekends, get in touch with one another, feel like we are close together, and feeling like not separated. You feel like you know, come to this country, getting together is only part that you can reestablish your comfort, your safety zones, and rather than you go and stay far away. Knowing to stay far away, you feel like you're isolated. So stay together to only feel a sense of closeness and feel like you are not separated, you're in a safe situation. That's how that's what we do, and we stay together.
So while you were here in America, have you experienced any kind of prejudice or discrimination?
Of course, that even nowadays we will still have that feelings, and I think that's part of this culture how it exists, because we are living in the world which is so many people come together, and doesn't matter of what. People would see us different. We'll see other people different, the same thing. And this discrimination is part of this country, I believe. But just that I feel like I'm not being discriminated to the point where I being heard or being feel like totally unjustified like that. But the way where people go like this, ching ching chong chong like that, or you will always feel it, or when they see you go yeah like that, you know, always there. But in a way, you know, they in a funny way, in the discrimination, teeny tiny bit, you know, that you can tell that the gesture say that you are different than us, and you and I are not the same. It's always there. Same thing for us to the other people. The same thing. We have the same feeling toward them too. So that's a fact.
I see it. So describe some positive experiences you've had in the United States.
Positive. There are many positive. Coming to the country, it changed. It's not just my life, but every Hmong people's life. To the extent where we can catch up with other people's education, technologies, like that. You know, before 1975, Hmong never have doctors. And of course, the first doctor was Dr. Yang Dao, which is he came to France and earned his doctor degree in agriculture. And that's the first doctor we ever heard, and that's a great one that we know that we have a Hmong doctor. Coming to this country gave the opportunity for everybody to go to school and be educated. And see, right now, doctors countless, bachelor, PhD, masters countless. And before, at my time, I was about the first wave or the second wave or people who graduate from high school. And graduate high school is such glorious, you know, everybody knows you that you graduate from high school. Right now, graduate from high school, man, nothing. You know, so education that gives us the Hmong people in general a big opportunity to learn and to grow and assimilate to this country.
So how important is language in the process of learning to function in another society?
I think learning language is very essential, particularly for the Hmong people. For example, I live in Laos. In Laos, we ethnically we are Hmong. We have our own language, but because Lao have their own language, like speak Laos. And in order for me to go through the education system in Lao, I'm not only just to speak Hmong, but I have to speak Lao to be able to go to the education systems. So in Lao, I speak 2 languages. Now coming to the refugee camp, we must learn to communicate it, to be able to prepare ourselves to come to the other countries such as French, America, United States, and the other country. In the camp, we have to prepare ourselves to be able to speak the languages that we are wishing to go. And to that, then people start to learn French language and English, and also at that period of time, give me the opportunity to learn some French, to learn some English. And you see, come to this country is the same thing, that you must know English to go to the education systems. But that's not the only thing. You must, in this country, you must learn to speak Spanish as well, because Spanish is another language that you must know in order to provide service to the Spanish communities. So for you to be able to have a better advantage, of course, the more language you speak, the better advantage that you will have.
Yeah, makes sense. So you mentioned the refugee camps. Can you tell one experience at refugee camp that was most memorable?
You know, in the refugee, I don't have a good memory. I mean, I don't have a memory where when I have a dream, I would feel like I missed them. You know, in the camp, it was a nightmare. I was in the camp for 4 years. 4 years, and to tell you the truth, if I have a dream about leaving the camp, that will screw my day for the whole day, because it's the bad memory that's bring back in the dreams. So in the camp, do not give me a good experience at all. Just like a painful bad life in a closet that you don't want to dream about, you don't want to feel it, you don't want to live through it again. It's very painful memories.
Before you came to America, did you have to go through any schooling or training to assimilate to the culture, or?
No, actually, we are not being sent to, but I know that I have been training. See, on my time when I come into America, that's the 1980 where we coming, because there's so much complicated during the training process. And on my time when we coming, we would pick up from the refugee camp directly from there, and then send it to our hotels. And the next day going through a physical exam, and then the following day we're shipped directly to America, because that way it would eliminate the chance of for us being contracted with disease that would be able to that will hold us back, that would not be able to enter the United States. But I know that before that, those people that come in after 1975. Those who were come directly, then they come to this country. They have trouble adapted to this land because of the language and the way we live. They turn off the gas, stove, cook, flush the toilet like that. So they had trouble adapt to it. They, like food, you put in the refrigerator. Back then, you just put it anywhere, and people have trouble adapted to live in this country. And then after that, they shift the people in the camp and shift it to a place like Philippines, and they will train them. But because of the training process, like going to class to speak English like that and learn to live, because that training process will last about 2 to 3 months. And with large people coming together like that, then the disease is passing from one to another. Then when of course coming to this country, you must have passed all the health examination that you will not have a contagious disease before coming to this country. And because people come together with a large group of people like that, then they tend to pass on those diseases from one to another, particularly hepatitis. Then people remain in the training area like Philippines, for like 6 months to a year, I'm not able to come into America. So in our time, they try to eliminate all of those by just pick us from the camp, send it directly to the hotel, and the next day going to a physical exam, following that, coming to America. So for our time, it's easier, faster, and of course less trouble for them and also less trouble for us.
So how has education helped you or your children in assimilating in America?
It helped me a lot. Consider I was 18, but you know my age is not correct. My parents never know when I was born. And before we come into this country, see, lots of people about my age and older, nobody know the actual age. Yeah. Parents, they just remember when you were born, and as time passed by, they forgot. And of course, our family, and for the Hmong family, you know, they have like 6, 7 children. How could they remember every date of birth then? Because they cannot even read or write themselves. So my date of birth, my parents don't know. When I was born, they could just tell me that, oh, you were born when when we were such place, and when we were about the season where we plant rice. So we just figure out, okay, what month we're planting rice, March or April, like that, and we'll just guess from that. So when coming to this country, my family must be chosen a date of birth for everybody. Yeah. So I was chosen one. And mine was August 1565. And then later on, then that when I come to this country, just about when I was 18. And then when I become a citizen, and I know that day is not correct, and give me a chance to restate my date of birth, and I back up 5 years to 1960. But anyway, when I come to this country was when I was 18. And we're able to learn English. That's the key for us to live in this country. And I was a field of people that were fortunate when I come to this country. I was a Catholic by then, and there is a sister Mercy. She was being great help to me and my family. She is willing to take me to a Catholic school. And I was able to go to Catholic school for 3 years and I graduated. But you know, as you know, right now, anybody who is 18 years old, forget about it. You want to go, you go to GED, and from there you can go to college. But at my time, because of the option that given to me, I was still able to go to high school as 10th grade, and then go to school for 2 years, and then graduated. But I was able to go and talk to the principal and say, hey, look, if you give me 2 years and you graduate me and go to college, I can't make it. You got to let me go pull back 1 more year. So the principal said, okay, I'll let you. So I stayed in my senior class twice. So give me 3 years in high school. And then, hey, you know, after the 3rd year, what can you do? You know, you don't have any more reason to stay in high school. Give me my diploma and get out of here. So in 3 years, I get out from high school and go to college. But through all those struggle, English, be able to speak English, it's a tool. It's a tool for anyone to live in this country, survive, and get a job, or even want to continue education. They must be able to read and understand what what you're taking, and be able to get a good grade. And that's how the essential foundation you must start everything is to be able to speak English.
Yeah. So do you have any memorable stories of when you immigrated to America?
Here in America, or
why you were immigrating to America?
Memories. You know, as I look back when I first came to America in 1980 and now, I am amazed that I were able to struggle through and live it up to this point and make it. When you look it back, if they ask me to do it again, I probably cannot live it, cannot survive. Through the struggle, through the suffering, I probably cannot do it again because of the way we are right now. We're better off than when we were in the 1980s. You know, when we, as you know, when we first came to America, you don't drive a car. You have to learn how to take a bus, and if you want to go to school, you have to take bus to school. You know, in America, there's some state that very cold, thick of snow. It's not like fresh snow, and you have to walk through a distance from where point A to point B. At a certain point, you have to walk through a large snows, and it was suffering back then when you start life from the bottoms, that you driving cars in the options is not an options. You must walk. Even you go shopping, you must walk. So you go visit relative, you must walk. Everywhere is walk. And if I look it back, I was amazed that I would live it through. But right now I probably can't. If I relive again, I probably cannot make it. It was amazing. So many times people say, "You're doing great." I say, "No, I'm not doing great. I'm a survivor." Because I just a person who stumbling through right now, that I make it through the time and I survive. That's it. I'm not doing great. I'm not doing good. I just survive through the time. How my school in the early age when I'm here, right?
So you went to high school for 3 years and then you graduated.
Yeah.
How was college for you?
College is very difficult. When I first start 10th grade in high school, you know, back when I coming from, I don't have any education backgrounds. I was only in third grade in Laos, and then we was relocated from here and there and everywhere because of the wars. And if we don't have our family, relocate all the time, and I don't have time to finish school. I was only in third grade, all the way. And then when I come to this country at age 18, I start high school at 10th grade. You know, it's very challenging. I would go to school every day, but I don't know what homework is. I don't know what is A, B, C, D, F means. Of course, they all get the assignment. When they get the bag, they say, "Hey, let me check how much. Oh, you got A, you got B, you got C." I don't know what that means. I go to school every day, but I don't know how to do homework. I don't know how to take quiz. I don't know to take exam. I don't know any of this thing that is important. You know, when I was first gotten to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, I entered to a high school called University City High School. You know, one of these days, if I have a chance, I like to go there and obtain my grade.
Oh.
I got zero, zero grade, and you know, of course I go to school every day, but doesn't know what to do, and the teacher doesn't know what to grade me either, because hey, the guy show up every day, but doesn't know what to do. And I continued that process all the way when we came to Rhode Island. Then I went to the Catholic school, and Sister Mercy, her name is Sister Francis, to go and talk to the principal, which his name is Brother Jerome's, and say, "Hey, I have a young man that I want to take to school here." So she already went and talked to the principal ahead before she took me to that high school, and they helped me in many ways that I just get it through. And when I first grade, you know, when I first get there for the first semester, it's the same thing. I don't know what to do. And I remember that when my friend got a grade, I said, "Hey, show me what," because they keep exchanging the report card to one another, right? And they look at it and say, "Hey, let me see too." And I look at it, I look at mine, but I wasn't able to know what it is. And look at there, and there's great. I say, "Hey, tell me what is the A mean, the B mean, the C mean." "Oh, the A mean you got 100%, and then blah, 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 to the C, that means you got 60%. So I start to then I start to compare to mine. Say, oh, mine is empty. You know, my report card is empty. And then at that point, I look at it, and the teacher. At the time, my name wasn't Sengsu. My name was Sao, because Sengsu, when I married to my wife, and a married name was given to me when my firstborn is arrived. So my father-in-law must give me a married name. So my youth name was Sao. And the teacher, just keep writing that, keep trying Sao, like that on my report card. I remember exactly what he write. And then I said the thing, okay, this must be great. The teacher don't give me F either, because I go to school every day. And I just don't know what to do. So I just put a big name, keep trying Sao, like that on it. Well, then I start to, when I see the grade and compare to mine, I start to realize that, okay, so go to school and get a good grade too. It's not just going every day. And I start to learn, prepare for a quiz, prepare for a test, and prepare for a midterm and a final, and my grades start to improved. When I was graduating from high school, the Sister of Mercy went with me to the school and received my diploma. The teacher, the Sister of Mercy, take my report card and he flipped to the back and he said, Sao, it's good that you graduate with the place of 600s. They write in their school, there were about, that private school where I attend, there were about 1,200 students or something. I was about to be graduate about the 600th place. And he said, Sao, let me tell you this. You graduate and you are in the 6th place of the whole school. The 600th place on the whole school students. And you know what he told me? Remember the first semester that you were here? Brother Jerome told me that you cannot make it. And not sure whether he should keep you here at school or should take you back to public school. And I told him that you let him one more semester, let him and one more chance and one semester. And at that time, I was realized how critical I was. But I don't even know how dangerous I was when I don't even know to take a grade and the teacher say, keep trying Sao. That was the point where they probably think that I cannot do it. But the sister said, let him try one more semester. And I was able to pick it up. And I finished high school, go to college. But in college, it's like you hit your head against the wall. In my time, I get through college not because I'm smart. I get through college because I won't give up. If I take 40 minutes in class sessions, I must spend like 1 day or 2 days to read. I read very slow. And I must read about 2 or 3 times to understand. So like you go to one class in school. One session is about 3 chapters to do. 3 chapters I must read about 2 days constantly to finish it and read again, refresh it, and to do that. But although I do that much, I still don't get a good grade. A B is the best grade that I get. Sometimes you get a C, a B, a C plus, a B. Some classes got an A, but not to the point where I would say that I did great. Like I say, I'm a survivor. And college it's very challenging because I don't have the education background to back me up. Like when I was 10th grade, 10th grade, I learned algebra. And I say, hey, how do you do algebra? Because algebra, when you were about 6th or 7th grade, you already learned algebra, fractions, decimal, like that, those things already. And when you got to 9, 10, you learn algebra. But when I got 10th grade, they give me algebra. and everything's like, okay, now what all of this, zero in knowledge about those math. But I was stumbling through, get it through, and right now, even I look it back, I still don't. So I still, it's amazing how do I get through.
So you did graduate, right, from college?
I did, but I did, but still know how I did it. And it's quite challenging. So as today, when I see Benjamin and Alec do not take serious in school, I was mad. I was mad because I see you have better chance than I do, and now you show me that you get a poorer grade than I am. What is going to happen to you? Now you don't understand what I'm going through. I don't want you to be in my shoe when you when the time comes. You better prepare right now, or you'll be in my shoe. And make me mad when I think about how terrible if they're in my shoes.
Có mua bữa chiều xong thôi có tôm cá tê à?
Mua nàng cầu chi.
Vì đã chỉ có tiết kiệm to để cho mình cá.
Lời hai lúc tết cho mình cá này lúc tết cho mình cá bảo mang thia nhớ tỷ chế sai nhớ là vậy tuồng.
Thôi có tôm cá tê có mua này thôi có to cho để chờ nhớ su to nhớ từ ở đây à?
Bây nhớ tết chấm lo sao? Một thay tết bây giờ là đây à?
Thôi có tôm cá tê à?
Tôm mình cá tết bây giờ là đây à?
Để tôi phát nón đây sao?
Bây tôi nhớ phát nón.
Có sao hay để chờ để họ nữ giờ chấp lời tới để chờ mình cả nhau để lúc để chờ có nhau ta lo giờ là gì?
Cái này giờ đi kìa.
Giờ đi thôi này ở trái cái trái à?
Tôi khó giờ hay thì tết chơi mà có tên mình nhỏ là chỉ có con đầu mình nhỏ để uống lên nò thì nhớ thì uống nhiều nhớ thì uống mà con đầu có tầm nhỏ to thì xin nhớ tết chơi nò nhưng con đầu sẽ lấy có tầm nhỏ còn to ấy khó là phải bởi khó nè chè là đầy một cậu
Mỗi thầy lên đây nè để nó là cho mong mà đây sao?
Nó sao bỏ tí này hà lên đó thế nó sao?
Ok. Thôi có tôm cá tê nó có bộ nhỏ cho mong sao? Để nó về apartment lấy mong sao?
Lấy mong thêm rồi.
Rồi. Nếu chỉ nhỏ chờ lấy mẹ lấy mì cá.
Mẹ mì cá giờ mới nhỏ bé nó nhỏ thế mà.
Ok. Rồi thôi có to thôi này biết to đây sao?
Bé to đây giờ mới thằng mong nhỏ đầu sao?
Thôi có tôm cá tê nó có bộ món này hello xếp hệ đó nên họ vì họ này là món.
Bé chuyện nói thế hả?
Chỉ nó. Có bộ món ít xài rong xía nhớ để chơi nó.
Rong
xía.
Rong xía thì dùng tàu trâu dùng chấm nhỏ tôi nhớ tới chuyện nói chè chấm nhỏ tàu rong no thế là tàu một cần tàu.
Ok.
Là mới kể ba dùng chấm nhỏ một cần tàu.
Bây giờ em cần tới Halumika bữa phơi á, rồi có bó cần tới có bó đây nữa, rồi có tomika đấy.
Có thể này chấm nhỏ là có chuyện nào?
Nè, có cái gì đấy bị có chấm nhỏ bây giờ.
Như nhỏ thế. Có sự tiếc hỏi chủ hai mika tiếc hỏi chủ hai mong.
Cái cần tới bữa ba có chấm nhỏ nhỏ mika té nó.
Ba con à.
Rồi có to mika té nó có bữa lấy họ rồi có sạc hay. Chỉ cho cá. Chỉ cho cá chị. Có một bữa chơi xong thì có tôm cá tết nó.
Tôi mình cả tên là cũng mua này gỗ trâu xong thế
thôi. Vì đã chỉ có tia ở kia tôm thì tết cho mình cá.
Cho khó tết chấm bò không để danh lại cái tổ. cho cả chỉ tàu thì
có sao hay luôn gì cho nên không mình nhỉ ở cha đỡ bây giờ thì mong to chứ
còn bây mà bây của thả vào bỏ chỉ là cho lẩu rồi của thả vào bỏ thì bây giờ mà CIA lấy mà lấy communist này thì những vua nhà Vietnamese thì rất là tốt.
thôi có tôi mình cả tên nó nên nhỏ từ vấn đề
nhỏ tết cần đó tết
mà thôi nên tôi mình cả tên nên tôi một phần vấn đề sao
nên tôi bao hôm nào
ok có sai thì họ như giờ chấp lời để mình tết chơi mình cả nó tiếc lưu tết chơi con nhỏ ta do lo do tết chơi họ cái giờ chấp lời
thật sự chấp lời mà do tết chơi nó do nên là hai mình cả bây giờ hai mình lo thì cái khó xịt sợ hay là bây chỉ tao thế chỉ bao lâu thì sợ
để cho cái chai tới giờ chơi
cái chai nó chỉ trong tên mà mình nhà phi đồng dư đầu tiên là cần đó cần tới là tàu hoặc tụi nó ở Lào cả là tàu tụi họ giống mình liệu tê tàu nhau được xe cái tết chơi nó mà lại chỉ mua lên đời thì để chủ yếu cho tu lúa mình nhà giàu thì lấy tàu cái gì xứ nhỏ lọt thì là chỉ một
thôi có tôi mình cả tên nó có bên nhau được có bên nhau trong mong sao
tôi mình cả tên là gì cũng như tôi professional thì cũng như nhau trong mong đó
cho nên biết to nhau cho bây khả năng về thời sao tôi có tôi mình cả tên nó bao mua nên hay lưu xếp hệ bây giờ họ có gì mong
của tôi lúc cái nó nhưng cũng chỉ bao lù thêm cũng chỉ bỏ thì chỉ tao chỉ một cái tuổi hai lù trong cái chặt đầu thế
có bao nhiêu thời trong xuyên nhớ tiết tế nó tiết chơi nó
cũng như trong xe nhá tôi sợ được thế nó cũng một cái trong xe khó nhá trong tên là đi bà thì chỉ một không thiết trở khá lại thì tầm nhau
bao nhiêu cái hồi cái chỉ trong xuyên ở mình cái tiền
tết thì mình cho nó khó cú phình chỉ hồ lô xe là mà nhà khó cú chỉ bao lô sen nó nhà khó cú nhiều xe chỉ
ok bây giờ important cái nhẹ nhẹ mình cái luôn có tụi mình cái tên nó vừa có cũng nhẹ thế như chúng nhỏ
nhà khó bé sẽ là bao nhiêu chỉ ta bao lô thì ta phải nhiều bé
thằng này thể biểu thằng này mình cái to bên này bên nông này trong nhỏ hay tại đồ等待nó
tôi trong tên là chỉ như là xí mình nhà giàu này cái mình nhà giàu là một sai lỗi rồi ư sự chỉ bao lô
cái cần tới bố bá có cho mình nhỏ thằng tôi bị cắt đấy
cái cần đó với kho ba tàu rồi cũ cho mình nhỏ thế cho tu cho anh xài sẽ được có lần một cái tông đại thì là thiết bao hay là mấy cả thiết ba tàu thiết chính
bây giờ em phát triển cái mình nhỏ bao cần tới mình nhỏ hay là mong thì bao mong khẩu trời thì ở đây nó gọi là bóc hay này cho mong tôm là thế
lấy những bao gần đây như vậy họ chuyển chính rồi cho mình nhỏ thế lấy những bao mù của lão cả rồi mù của hậu lử lo mù bắt xài rồi cho lử tu lo là những bắt đầu giả chuyện này thế rồi lử tu thế
cái bên này cái story rồi cái chỉ thuộc cái tôm cả tên cái trò thuộc cái trò khan
do thế mà
cái này cái story cái sao khác
cô có đan hนึ่งว่าเนี่ยนอตัวที่จะนอมาอย่าอีคอว่าถอไปย่อรู้ที่ฉันรอจีขอไปเขียตัวมีตัวขอเดียยันลาอย่าจับคำนี้นะเลยตัวนู่เดียอยู่ยากูอยู่เนี่ยอยู่จีเที่ยอยู่เจนนึงอย่ามัวจะตัวท่าเสียเอละเสียตัวcho tròn cho không này là gì là để cho lầu kia là để cho một nhung cho một cậu là chỉ là kia cho một bỏ khoản tu rồi giờ cho một tổ vật chế là thì là cho một cậu cả tất nhiên mình chia một lần đời họ là phải thì phá lá gọi cho một chỉ phá lá là tất nhiên mình là cho một tổ học quốc tế mà trở điเป็นmột tí lâu một tha hạ là một cỡ lò nữa là một study cho phần lát tụi kia chân mà lấy tiền chúa là cho một cái đời thì chọn tàu cho nó cho một bó khoản đủ rồi này một cái lu khó to được bố thì mua bó đồ khó thì là cái lu bó chuột xe thì mua khó bó chuột thì mua bó chuột thì là tin này cái thằng chết tàu thì thầu lên được khó ở bên tàu chỉ xe tua mà thì bị một tên nọ thì mỗi nô chỉ bên mỗi tụ cứ tì này thế tụ nhà cho khám mô là xe thì bắt đầu là tàu tua sư bên lu rò là tua nho rò bên nho tua một nô tên là cho nhà tôi bị tê chỉ là tia sâu giờ lô giờ khô lì lô sâu tan hạt bít cho cứ tin ở trong về lấy tàu tha hạ sẽ thế cho tàu tha hạ Hoa Kỳ nhưng mà giờ France này tàu tha hạ France thế tha hạ America thì lấy sư lấy bao thì nào sư chỉ lấy một cái trong về cho họ chỉ lấy mà bạn đấy tôi rồi cho một chỉ phá lát này chỉ là cho một bỏ khẩn tu mình đấy sự và bên thứ mà cho cứ ti hoặc là cho một linh đời bên chế tàu mà thầu cao sẽ liên bao ở tiền như vậy là cho một bỏ linh đời ta sự thì cho chỉ bỏ được thì bên thì là nhiều xe cho tiền nói thì để chơi ít phong đời ở nung đời ở tuần đời tua mình chỉ ở tuần đời cho cả một chế thì nó chỉ là các ngành lúc nào thì bên mấy tù diễn giải những cái chơi tàu lúc nào để cho là sai thì bỏ cho bên này đó thì là thì bên cho đi lâu theo cho này cho chỉ là theo tàu sa la thì tạo ra rộng cho là một tùy mỏ thì là một sinh sĩ sĩ thả thì bây giờ chàng như vậy thì bây giờ chủ tàu kia chứ này thì sự thì tàu kia làm cho thái tê thì tàu thì chỉ là trong đó Kansas thái này thì tàu bên kia là một đó là bên tàu kia là một là trong hạt chua tên là thì bên một chỗ là chu cho bầu là chỉ cho bom mà nhớ đồ tên là cái chu tàu lên đấy bây giờ mua thì thầu bê lòng mà bê chỉ chu tới gì mà mua đầu tù thầu dọc kia này với mua cho chu lòng tay thì là tù tè tù tay rồi tua là như vậy thì bây giờ nó nói bây giờ họ thọ bé lòi nhuận này thì bé họ là một là hai giống đó là một là trong là hạ này là một gia đồ hậu sụt hậu thái tê này thì gia đồ hậu này thì thái mua cho thả là gì cho sơn trở lại tua mua sẽ là cho thọ nó cũng như nó như tiền như phò này thì là mua lử cho ít kho thì lại mua sẽ là cho một sư thì lại mua sẽ là tê nhỏ sâu nó là tê siêu tê gỗ tê nhỏ không biết gì nữa sẽ là mua là sẽ là tê chân ba tê nó mong mua siêu vườn đầu sao cho lên gì nữa thì thái độ danh thì là ta thì mà đi cho lọc thì thế là nho thì sẽ thì gió nhỉ tiệt có một cái là chân ra thì nó cả là ta thì cái sự thì phải chỉ mỗi chỉ muốn nọ thế là nho là chỉ tao mua và thì nó với khó là chỉ tao bao nữa thì như vậy cho nhiều em chỉ tao bao thì sẽ là mà đi mua rau nọ chỉ tao
tôi có tôi tiết trời nó trời cậu mà papa thấy cái vô món nó thì cái vô không nó chỉ sao
tôi cho nó thì nó government lấy ban nhẹ bông tiết trời mà sao thì lấy ba được cho rồi chỉ tôi chia nó lấy mỗi từ đi ốp bùa tên là tôi trong một chỉ cho ná là giờ sọt chế nho là giờ nên là chỉ bé mua xa lưng thì cái đó cái tàu đi
phạt lâu của nó thổ của nó nhiều phát lên là thổ tôi cả tiền nó cầm về cho ba chỉ thổ này tôi là papa nó là cho tôi liền chứ
cho liền gì cho tuần gió là ban đầu thổ y để cho số tuần mà là tới tụ lót bùa thì sẽ tới cho tất cả những gì tới tụ ốp bùa là sự để cho tua xong xa chuột chua thế này thì xa chuột chua rồi bị trâu nhưng mà là tàu tụ lót bùa xuống nó thế thì ba bên đi nhiều hồng mà bên tua bên trên nó bên mặt chỉ cho cá thì là ba nhẹ vì chỉ tua bên trên mấy chả nó mới tụ ốp bùa này thì là ba như là mua cho chơi cho Christian là cụ sa như ta như bà hỏi chơi qua để cụ chỉ cụ cho tên là tôi được tại USC thì bên cũng chơi tận ná thế là họ mua cho chơi mua mình ở tên là họ gà tua cụ bên ná thế thì cụ lô câu tại địa thì là cụ gà tua không gì
cái bố cho món chuyện nó thay thế hoặc lo thế rồi lâu sao bố mua nên community chuyện thì là mua món chuyện to
chẳng nhớ được lo tê mà để nó bây giờ mong là lấy chuyện mới cho và cho cô xìa hay vắt bỏ cho cô ôm nền là này cho bọn mình khỏi qua tha xìa trên qua lại là do nên miền nên dĩ qua lại thì nó là chuyện khiến nhau đồ bền trắng cổ mà vì nó cũng chỉ bảo để chùa họ trong được,但是chuyện chùa nhau bé dễ liền ốp phá bé phá tụ mình đã làm gì mình đó giờ thằng bảo dễ nó mà cũng sao để chơi chùa này chỉ cho chọn tụ cho bỏ tụ rồiเขาว่าเลยเจอนี่นั่นแหละมาอย่างยะลาตัวจะช่วงเบื่อหรือว่าจอหยุ่งตัวจอช่วงนะที่ป้องหลงที่อีเชียดีมัวอีเชียลานเจอีเชียมอปลาเขาตัวเด้ลงพาตัวจอเลยจีเต้นใกล้นอนลื้อจีก็เข้าหนุ่มจีเลยตัวตาจีลื้อจีông là đúng không mua có trộn không mua thế nào gì không mua thì lư không mua gì tại lo
cái cho nên community không được rồi trả nhau về rồi
mua cho chua này cho bông xuống đua thì hạt trâu thì tua như thế cho họ những nhân dân của thì là chỉ sát tua một lại rồi thì cái tỏ cái tua là chỉ là chỉ sát tua cái tua cho chua thếแล้วการช่วยตัวพงจะเด้จะรีเวิร์ดเมย์อยู่เพิ่งแล้วปอดจะยิงดีเราเขาก็ติดเลยจอดชั่วเลยที่ไปเราอยู่ยิงตัวเห็นในมุ่งหล่อๆเลยที่ตัวตาจงแต่เชื่อมันช่วยปวดตัวเชื่อชิดจงเต็มเลยชิบะแล้วยิ่งมั่วจะชิบเหตุได้ชิมายามแล้ววัวนั่นเจแล้วเจละนั่นแหละพี่ยังแล้วย้อนเชื่อตั้งเหมือนกับตัวตื่นเจก็ตะการหมูเจนะที่จะบล็อกเจย้อนแล้วย้อนเตะเจแล้วกินได้เจก็หมูเป็นหมูแซ่บแซ่บอะไรเจแล้วกินมันก็สอนมันก็จะหมูปอกขันดูซึแต่ฉันไปโรงเรียนหนอเลียที่ลีหัวเอาตัวนั่นแหละตัวมันเด็กก็ปอกตัวชิปอก
nó recent bắt đầu bố sao
thầu bé chuyện nhỏ hậu thầu bé nhỏ mình cả năm à trong chưa chịu gì rồi chưa chịu chua đủ nó xưa mà chưa chịu gì rồi chua là sẽ ấp hạ
này bây giờ cái tiêu rồi có chọn phong như sao
bây giờ chọn nên ít tuổi mong ba ít tuổi mong lì nhiều ít tuổi cái tiêu là chỉ là cho các mùng sửa tới chờ thì sửa cái tí thì là vấn đề thì bao nhiêu sự lấy chỉ bỏ hắn đề đi đó là mà nhớ làm đề nên mà lấy tọt chống đủ cho mà ô tô nó có tôi thải thì cho mỗi người mà thì lấy đi muốn gia tỏa dùng gì cho một tổ mà chơi gì cho một bỏ hắn đủ sự chỉ bù trên hình của con một bông là bao chỉ bù được tụ bao thì tải thì sự chỉ mong là thứ sự tàu thế giờ là tụ cái chai phá lá từ cái chân mà là chỉ bù lên từ kia đi nè nè những thứ bỏ là cái tàu thì ta đi thế tại sao nó chọn bò là chọn ăn một là chỉ ở bê tù nhá rồi họ được tê chứ tin thì nó tàu tại sao nó kia
So how old were you when you immigrated to America?
I think I was probably 2.
Mm-hmm.
I think when I was around 2.
And what caused you to immigrate to America? Or your
Family came here because of the Vietnam War.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where did you immigrate to when you first came to America?
We first landed in New York.
Mm-hmm.
New York State. I think maybe Binghamton.
Mm-hmm. So,
yeah.
You were 2 or 3 years old when you came, but what, in your opinion, is the main cultural differences from American culture and the culture you were in previously, or the Hmong society?
Difference?
Yeah, the main differences.
Maybe the way you address parents, adults, and different uncles, aunts. America, aunt will be aunt no matter which side, but Hmong you have different terms and maybe rituals, stuff like that. Religious rituals were different.
When you came to America, did you and your family live in residentially ethnic clusters?
Yeah, in Orange County in California, we live in a high Asian population, and eventually moved to Banning, where there was a lot of Hmongs in one, development.
Mm-hmm. Have you experienced prejudice or discrimination in the United States?
A little bit, especially when I was a kid in elementary school. Sometimes the kids will make fun of your Asian, because I'm Asian, and they'll make fun of that. But other than that, occasionally on the street you hear people yell things. But that's rare. Yeah.
Can you describe some positive experiences you've had in the United States?
Positive experience, a lot of positive experience. I can't really say at the same time too, because I can't compare to Laos, Thailand, but education, freedom, and just hearing what's going on now in I guess where I was born, Disneyland. I don't know. There's a lot of good stuff here. I can't really compare to Laos or Thailand. I didn't grow up there, so yeah.
So how important is language in the process of learning to function in another culture?
Oh, language definitely is very important in any culture, any society you live in.
Yeah.
Language is, if you can't communicate, sign language, spoken language, you can't really do too much.
So how has education helped you or your children in assimilating in America?
Well, education, allowing us to work, communicate what we want, go to the store. I mean, it's primary thing in our life to be able to achieve whatever we want is education and language.
So do you have any memorable stories or when you immigrated to America?
There was one case when I was maybe 4 or 5 and haven't gone to school yet, and took a picture of my friends, and I remember it was one Asian kid and 2 other kids who were white. So that's one thing I remember in New York.
Were there many Hmong kids in New York when you first immigrated?
No, I don't think so. I didn't notice a lot of that. There was just one kid, but when we came to California, Orange County, there was a large population of Hmongs there and Asians, and I remember that was clear there, obvious there.
Okay. Do you think the Hmong immigrated in waves? Like, do you think you were part of the first immigrants who came to America?
I think so. If we weren't first, we were probably second, but definitely in the early 80s, well actually late 70s and early 80s, that's when we came in. So we were probably some of the first wave that came in.
Were you guys sponsored by relatives or was it by?
Sponsored by a church.
Oh, okay.
I remember that we had American sponsor, and I don't remember much about them, other than that they were American.
Did you guys have to rely on a lot of government aid?
Yeah. I think eventually, in the beginning, we relied a lot on maybe the generic term is welfare. I don't know what they call it back then, maybe FDC, but yeah. My dad worked too, so I don't know how all that worked out.